Hello, welcome to Oxford Heirlooms. Well, I'm sitting here with the dress inside out, and it's inside out and it's buttoned together. And what I did, because I'm getting ready to hand him the dress, I went to the ironing board, and all along the bottom of the dress, I pressed it under by 1/4 of an inch, and you can kind of see that little 1/4 press through the fabric. Then I very carefully began to pin it to the level, just at the level of the bottom of the insertion lace. Now, since this little dress flares, okay, I lined up the back facing, I lined up the side seam, and then I lined up the center front of the dress, and then I very methodically began to create tiny little tucks about every 2 inches to take care of that flare in the dress, so that the hem will lay flat. Okay, so I've got a needle and thread. I've got my green thread with just one strand of green thread. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by anchoring my thread inside the fabric by about 1/8 of it. Let me press the bottom so I can know where the bottom of the dress, just finger fold that. Now I'm going to go inside, and where that little finger fold mark is, I'm going to anchor my thread about 1/8 of an inch inside the dress, and then I'm going to come up at the edge of the facing so that my knot will be inside of the hem. Okay, now very carefully, let me turn the dress this direction so I can work. I'm going to very carefully start to do invisible stitches, which I don't particularly like to do, but you know, they need to be done on the corner edge of this dress. Just go in one side of the facing of the hem and then come out on the other side. This is going to take me a while to do this. And do stitches about every 1/4 of an inch. And just without letting it pucker, just simply tuck the dress together at the facing. There we go. Phew, I think I've got it going now. Just run the needle inside the facing, like what I just did here, and then come back out about 1/4 of an inch up the facing as we're heading towards the top of the hem. So I'm going to do this all the way up the facing. Take a minute to get this done. But see how that holds that together? And I'll press it again when I get finished. Okay, I'm about to get to the top. Now I'm going to do 2 little stitches right up at the top just to anchor that into place. Let me turn my hem around this way now because I'm going to start working going down this way. So just right there below the insertion lace, I'm going to do 1 little anchor stitch. Go ahead and take that pin out. Okay, now I'm going to do little whip stitches going down the edge of the hemline, about every 3/16 of an inch. And then when I get to the other end of the hem, I will show you what I'm going to do when I get down there, because I'm going to stop hemming about 2 inches before I get to the end, and then I'm going to start at the bottom of the hem, work my invisible stitches up, and then come back and meet up with where I stopped hemming. But I'll get to that in just a little bit. Okay, so this is going to take me a hot minute to get this dress hemmed. When I get to these little tucks, I'll simply anchor them into place and keep going. But the smaller your stitches apart from each other, the smoother the hem ends up being. Okay. All right, so that's looking really pretty. It's closed up here on the end. It'll look a little bit better when I give that a good pressing and some starch. But I'm doing tiny little whip stitches, just going down, stitching it just exactly close to where the bottom of the lace is zigzagged on. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm just about finished hemming the little dress. I've got this side done, and what I did was I said I would stop about 2 inches before I got to the end, and that is what I've done. So I have finger pressed the bottom of the hem, so I'm going to open it up again like I did on the first side, and about 1/8 of an inch inside the hem, I'm going to anchor my thread and then come back out at the facing. Okay, let me turn this way. Okay, now I'm going to begin to do blind stitches or invisible stitches, working my way up to this corner, and then I will finish hemming and tie off closer to the end. I just didn't want any knots to show on the edge of the fabric. So let me begin to do my invisible stitches. Just go inside the facing, come back up about 1/4 of an inch along, go in the other side of the facing, come up about 1/4 inch along, and then go back to the other side, go inside, go about 1/4 of an inch, and come back out. And this begins to hold that open part of the hem closed, with the stitches nearly not showing, because they're just little, we're just tacking it together there at the end. So let me continue and get up and turn the corner and finish up the hem. I think I'm going to turn this one pin 90 degrees and go the other direction because it's going to be in my way in a minute. Okay, so let me continue with my little invisible stitches. Take that pin out now. I'm going to work my way to the top of the fold. And then with just one little stitch or two little stitches here at the corner, I'm going to anchor that into place. Okay, now I'm going to turn this way, and I'm going to work my way from this corner to where I stopped stitching before. Just with tiny little whip stitches. There we go. Okay, now I will tie a knot right here. Now I'll turn the dress right side out. Let me zoom out a little bit. I do need to go and press this hem because I simply folded it up without pressing it along the bottom. But you can see how that hem matches up with the bottom of the insertion lace, and you don't really see the sewn seam part of it. Okay, all right, so this finishes the dress. In the next video, we'll start working on the little slip, because since this is Swiss muslin, or what we call fairy cloth, it is very thin, and the dress definitely needs a little slip made out of the same fabric to go with it. But thank you.